Today what we're going to be doing is showing you and instructing you how to build your own ChatGPT interface that you can host on your own website or is available in your own intranet. The reason that you want to do this is you want to have a quick, easy interface that you can customize for your use or brand for your personal needs or business needs. What we're going to be doing today is using the ChatGPT interface. We're also going to be using the Postman software to help us test that our API key is working, and then we're going to be building a short bit of code, testing it on a website, and ultimately putting it onto a production ready website. All of these items are free at the moment, and what you can do to enhance the solution and create your own background and images is using Canva. All the links and all the resources will be available in the resource pack. So let's get going. Right, so navigate over to the postman.com website, and really simple, all you do is click on sign up for free. You can pop in your email address, or you can just sign up with Google. So let's hit the sign up for Google and choose your account and pop in your credentials. Right, so you've now logged into the Postman interface. What we're going to do now is click on workspaces, and we want to create a workspace which is going to house our project. All right, you can select from the blank, or you can choose one of the templates. What we're going to be doing today is just choosing a blank workspace, and let's hit the next key. Right, so let's give it a test name. So we're just going to call it chatbot test. And if you wanted to pop in a summary, you could pop that in. All right, you've got multiple options here who can access it, but let's just click personal and go create. Right, so it's now created our workspace. And what we want to do now is look on the left-hand side for collections. All right, so it's basically a collection of programs that we can create here. So click on collections and go down and see create collection. So click on create collection. Okay, and what we can now do is call this collection a name. So on the top of your page, you will see there it says name the collection, and we're just going to pop in test. Right, so now we've got a collection. What we want to do now is go and find our API key. Okay, so first things first, you need to open up platform.openai.com/playground. This does require you to have access to this, so if there's any signups that you need to do, you can do that. Click on API keys and create a new secret key if you don't already have one. Copy that secret key to your clipboard and then come back into Postman. What we want to do now is go into our variables, pop in a variable name over here, and let's call this API key. We can then scroll to the right and pop in the current value, which is going to be our API key that we copied from ChatGPT. Initial value, we can just call this a fix or fix me. Save. Right, let's click the authorization button, and what we want to do is set our authentication type for ChatGPT. It uses the bearer token, so let's click on bearer, and what this now allows you to do is instantiate and call it with a token. So let's open up and our curly brackets and say API key and select it. It'll automatically populate the curly brackets for you. Let's hit save. Okay, so what we're going to do now is connect up to our models. So what we're going to do is go back to collections, select our test, and then add a request. What we're going to do now is start interfacing with the interface. So let's click on post, and what you can do now is type in the endpoint. Right, so the endpoint is quite critical here because it needs to know where to find the ChatGPT model that you want to look at using. So https://api.openai.com/. All right, and now to find the actual endpoint. These things do sometimes change, so that's why I'm showing you this. All right, so you can click on your Open API. Let's go down to documentation and click on models, and then scroll down until you see endpoints. Okay, here's your endpoints that you would like to use. All right, so we're going to be using the version 1 chat completions. This is the most common one. If you wanted to try the other ones, you're more than welcome to. All right, and now you can just paste that into your endpoint there. So version 1 chat completions. Let's hit the save button. And let's hit send and see what it comes back with. Okay, so as you can see here, it's got a bad request because it's we haven't provided any information. So you must provide a model parameter, invalid request. So let's go back to our authorization, inherit. Let's click the bearer token again, and let's pop in our API key here. So let's open up our curly brackets and choose API key. Now what we can do is go to our body and start typing in what it's looking for. So as you see there, it's showing you the format and the structure down below. So it requires a message, it requires a type, parameter, and code. So what I'm going to do is just show you how to load that information in, and you can copy and paste this from the resource document. So what we're going to do is click on body, go raw, and make it a JSON string. Right, so here's the information. So the post, here's the JSON body, so we need to have a model, and it's a GPT 3.5 turbo. And how do you find that? So go back to your documentation, click on GPT or your model updates, and here's your model name here, GPT 3.5 turbo. All right, so make sure it's exactly the same as that, and pop in your message, and all the curly brackets and all the square brackets need to be in place. All right, so let's hit save, and let's hit send, and let's see if the system returns back a response. This may take a few seconds. Okay, so there we go. Here's our response that we've received back from ChatGPT. You'll notice in the bottom over here, it created an ID for us. So each time we call it, it creates a new ID, and there's the response. All right, so really proves to us that this is now working. And what it's going to allow us to now do is ultimately take the next steps. As you can see, it's called the model GPT 3.5 Turbo 0613 in the background, and ultimately it's going to use that for our use case. Right, so what we're going to do now is use ChatGPT to actually help us build an HTML code. All right, so the command that we're going to write here, write me a simple HTML code to create a chatbot that allows a user to send a prompt. All right, and here's our endpoint that we want to pop in. All right, the endpoint is that, and let's provide our JSON code, the API key as well. So the API key is going to be the key that we've already got. So if you don't know where to find it, all you can do is just go back to your authorization, double click your token, and you'll see the current API key there. You can click on the copy button, and you can go back to ChatGPT, paste in your API key, and what we want to do now is pass it the body of the JSON. So we're going to go, my JSON code is, And let's go back to our body. And let's copy that code. And what we can do is paste it into ChatGPT and hit enter. All right, so what it's going to do now is create the code for us for a simple HTML page that's going to allow us to use our API key and give us the necessary code to call it. Okay, so this is not a very secure way to do things, but it's just a way for us to now test it on a website just to make sure that it's performing the way we would like it to perform. So let's copy it. What we want to do now is open up a web runner, and you can go to onecompiler.com, and let's copy and paste that HTML code that ChatGPT gave to us, and let's hit run. And what you can see here is it's created a beautiful interface for us. Well, not beautiful, but let's give it a go. So hello, and as you can see, it's now responding. How can I assist you? So give me a plant growth plan, and let's hit the send. Right, so what we've done now is we've tested our HTML, we've tested that our API key works, and it's ultimately giving us an answer. All right, so it may take a few seconds to come back, but let's see what it does. All right, there we go. So I'm a plant grower, and the text that's been generated from ChatGPT is now visible there. Okay, so that's all great, and that looks like it's working perfectly. So the reason that I've showed you all of this was you need to be able to test that your API is working, you need to be able to test that your HTML code is working, and you need to be able to test your different parameters. All right, so those are the basics of just getting set up and going. What I want to show you now is how to set up your own web server and host it, and give you the code to create a beautiful interface that looks like this. All right, so this is going to be quite customizable for you. So download the resource pack if you haven't already, and we'll look to set this up. So first things first, what we're going to have to do is go to web hosting company called 000 Web Host. You can search for it in Google, and you can click on the login or sign up. So let's just go onto the web page and go and sign up. And it's going to ask you for some details and a password. When it asks you to create a web name, just leave it blank for the time being. Unless you've got a domain, then you can pop it in. But leave it blank for now just to test it out. So pop in your details and hit the create button. All right, this may take a little bit of time. All right, so once it's created, what you're going to see now is install WordPress or upload a site. What we're going to be doing today is uploading a site, because we've already created the HTML files for you, and you're going to be just customizing it. So create the upload files, and what it's going to do now is it's going to take you to the back end. Don't worry, this is not onerous or difficult. What you're going to be doing is going into the public HTML space, because that's where all web files are hosted. So let's go grab our files that are in the resource pack, and let's go and just make sure that they are available. So first things first, I want you to go into the script.js. Open it up with either Notepad or either with TextPad. All right. What this is allowing you to do now is it's going to give you some parameters to change. So on the top is your prompt, and down below is called your bearer. And this is going to be your API key that you have already copied from your previous environment. So let's just click on save. And off we go. All right, so what we can do now is we're going to go into the public HTML folder. So you can just double click on that. And what we want to do now is upload our files. All right, so you can't right click. So what we're going to have to do is go over here and go and click on upload files, select the files, and select all of our files over there. As you notice, it didn't upload the folder. So we're going to click on upload. All right, So our 3 files are now available. Let's create a new folder, and we're going to call it assets. And this is important that you get the naming right, or else it will not work. And you can go into assets, and let's go and upload our assets which are in here. And these are just basically the logos and the backgrounds. You're going to be able to change this later, so I'll just show you how to upload it initially. And let's click on upload. Okay, so all the files should now be uploaded in our public HTML space, and you shouldn't need to change anything else. If you haven't put the bearer key or the API key in, I suggest you do that. All right, let's go and test it. So let's go to the dashboard page and click on View Site. Right, so this is now on the web, and it's hosted by 000 Web, and you can now see that this is what the interface looks like. All right, and you can now type in your first chat that you would like. So tell me about plants, and as you can see, it works nice and quickly, and here is your answer. All right, so really powerful, really simple to use. And if you wanted to change any of the things, you could just click on script.js, and you can go in and edit it from within this interface over here. So if you didn't want to re-upload files, you could do that, but I recommend changing things in your local system and then uploading it so you've got a version control system. All right, so that's what that looks like, and pretty fantastic if you ask me. Okay, so what we can do now is create a customized version of this. So you want to change the background, or you want to change the text box, or you want to change the little robot. What I'm going to show you today is really simple. So go into Canva and sign up for Canva if you haven't already. All right, it's a free software. What we're going to do is create a design, click on custom size, because we want to create something very specific. The width that we want to pop in is 1440 by 1023 pixels. And let's click create new design. Okay, so it's going to give you a blank canvas over here. And if you wanted to choose your own background, because you don't like mine, you can click on background and hit enter. And you can now select from the multiple backgrounds that are available. So there's paid versions and there's not paid versions. I'm sure you can find one that you like. There's some flowers. There's some basic blue shapes. Let's grab that one. That one looks pretty good. So all you do is drag it across, and that's it. So there's your background. All right. If you wanted to add anything else, you can do that. But click on share. And what we want to do is click on download. Choose the PNG and make sure that the size is what we set, and let's hit the download button. Okay. All right, so what we want to do now is create a mobile background because the sizes are different. So let's go create a design again. And this time we're going to put in the custom size as 360 by 814. And hit new design. So similar to creating the other one, go to background and find a background that you like. I like that one, that looks great. And simply just drag it across. It'll automatically resize it. And that looks great. Right, so we want to download that one as well. So hit download, and it'll save to your location, your downloads location. All right, so really simple next steps. Let's go to those files that you've just downloaded. All right, and let's go grab them. And what we can do is just paste them into our master folder that we normally use. So I pop mine into C drive, inetpub, and this is because I've got my own local web server that I'm running in the background, and you can just paste it in over here. All right, so the next thing that you would need to do is rename the current backgrounds to the new ones. So let's rename the old one to old. And let's just copy the mobile BG and rename the new file to what the old one was called. Okay, so you can't have two files that are the same. And now let's do the same for the background. So background image, let's just copy the name and let's put old in it. And what we can do now is rename our new one. Oh, let's just do that again. And what we can do is just rename our new one and hit paste. Okay, so really simple. What we can do now is upload these two files to our site. If you wanted to change the logos, just pop in your logo, pop in your chatbot, whatever you want to do there. Really simple, really easy. And what you can do now is go back to your 000 web host and go to your folders. If you haven't already got those folders, let's just come back here. So if you click on the three dots, you can go into Manage, scroll down to Tools, and then go to File Manager. This is going to take you to the back end where you were originally. Right, so let's go to the public HTML. If you're not already there, let's go to your assets and let's go in and upload our files. All right, so select the files and go to the assets and let's upload our new images. All right, you can click on open and upload. I won't do that now because I quite like mine, but that's what it would basically do. All right, so when I tested it, this is what it looks like. So here's our new background image with all the changes that we made. So remember, if you want to change anything, go to your assets. You shouldn't need to change anything else in your HTML file or your CSS, but if you did want to, well, there you have it. A website with ChatGPT interface on a web server. It's responsive, so it can work on your mobile devices. It's customizable, so you can be the prompting expert that you like. Thank you so much for watching. I've been working on a couple of other products and training that hopefully will benefit you. So keep in touch and hopefully see you at the next course. Thank you.